as we have spawning up in the top right, just as he jumps away for Team NV, it is NightMare.
And Proxy Gang in the bottom of the base, but also in the top left for his main. It is Astrea. You know, I cast him in a qualifier. I want to say it was yesterday, but I think it was actually 2 days ago. And he quite literally cheesed his ass off like every game. And I was like, you know, a little qualifier. He's like, if I get in, I get in. If I don't, I don't. But man, now he's just going to crank it out in PvP as well. I feel like he's just coming out with some crazy stuff here. All of a sudden, I don't know, he just got back to Korea. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be cheesy. 2 gates and a forge going down, and we are going to go full throttle here on Stargazers. NightMare's about to scout the fact that this is a proxy, and we'll see what his response turns out to be as he just now puts the second gate down. Will he want to try and get a forge up here instead, though? He could cancel a gate for the forge and start working on cannons if he would like to.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting situation. I'm not... Oh, there it is. There's that forge. Very wise decision. And there's no pylon yet for Astrea. Where is he going to put those pylons down? Okay, he's going to use his opponent's wall.
That's bad.
This is nasty. I think you need to cancel that gateway to let the Zealot spawn on the bottom side. You have to.
I think so, but then the Zealot's locked out into the other Zealots, right?
Yeah, true. Oh, man. This is rough.
Yeah, this is absolutely horrible. This is not good at all. Zealot is going to come out on this side. I think Astrea is fine with this because, again, that means that the Zealot is over here. He is going to start getting his own cannons up mine. So, you know, as NightMare gets his own cannons underway, that's going to help a lot. Here come these Zealots. They don't have a ton of time, really. You know, they've got to get going at some point soon.
Oh, the probe!
Onto the other side as the probe does stay alive. Oh, my goodness. And now I guess we we just try and outmass cannons on the left side of this.
The problem is, NightMare's cannons are, like,
gas
done.
steal.
Oh, that's a double gas steal. He doesn't even need to do that. That's a little bit greedy. I think this is held, though, from NightMare.
Yeah, because I think he's safe over here, and by gas stealing, he takes all follow-ups away from Astrea.
Yeah. Actually, this... Is this...
No, he's going to lose the left
cannon.
Well, I think Astrea is still going to have a chance because he's going to kill this cannon on the left side, and then he can break through his own pylons. Then he's got Zealots in the base.
Yeah, I was assuming that cannon on the right side for NightMare was going to be able to hit the cannon on the right, so that like it's like a weird snowball situation where one cannon like out DPSs another by a lot just by finishing like 2 seconds earlier. He's going to try and save the gateway. Okay. I think this still should break through. Ooh, nice micro right there. Okay, battery overcharge. That's going to buy a lot of time. I think, actually, yeah, no, with the battery overcharge, he should hold it still. The wall should be held.
I think so. There's a lot of Zealots still on the low ground. Robo on the way for NightMare. I mean, this is basically the final ditched effort here from Astrea. The supply block for NightMare is brutal, though, right? Because, I mean, he just can't build anything else up. So he's got, what, a cannon and a Stalker, and that's basically all he's got to try and win this game with right now. Warp gate's only halfway done. The new gate starts in the back, or finishes in the back. He's Zealots make it through. I don't like him going for the pylon, no. I mean, it's 3 batteries. Kill it. Surely.
It should be batteried, but he's like, nah, it's fine. I don't need it. Yeah, no, if that pylon had gone down, that would have maybe just been... it's so hard to say. NightMare's actually going to lose a couple of workers here. That's a shield battery finishing. This should be fine. Yeah, this should be fine for NightMare. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, no, this should actually just be over.
It doesn't matter if this pylon dies because he's got another pylon up. I think as long as these cannons are surviving, he's going to have an immortal on the way out. I think this does just become too much for him. He can now chip away at the cannons. He's gotten rid of the first chunk of Zealots. Obviously, there was always going to be like a surge here from Astrea because he stacked up like loads of Zealots.
Yeah.
But now that initial Zealot count has been brought down, it's just nowhere near as scary anymore. And like we say, he's got no follow-up. If he was walking Stalkers into the base right now, I'd be kind of scared. But yeah, he never got his gases up. And you can even see he's got so many minerals he can't spend. Having some gas mining, some Stalker production probably would have been way better as a follow-up to this. But yeah, obviously, Immortal's out, and this does look as though we are just going to have, well, a little bit of a mistake from NightMare. I don't know why he doesn't just hit the pylons, no?
Yes. Yeah, I think the Immortals could hit them from safety, in fact. Even the Stalker can. Yeah, so that was a little bit unnecessary. So even in what is likely victory at this point for NightMare, a little bit of nerves, a little bit of shakiness right there, including losing that Stalker. He there really should be no way whatsoever for Astrea to win this game. But this is worth noting for game number 2. Like, things could still get funky. Astrea is going to recall the Zealots to try and take his gases, but, like, I mean, come on. Like, let's look at the gas mined for NightMare. He's mined almost 1,000 gas right now. Yeah, that's that's not something you see every day.
Astrea is trying to take the gold on the bottom of the map, but I mean, real talk is there's a prism here that can micro against these Zealots and should just be able to pick up some damage. Yeah, eventually you just kite these Zealots to death, right? And then at that point you're just kind of in a good position because, well, reinforcements aren't exactly coming home. I mean, Astrea is actually walking 2 more Zealots back home. Yeah, I like what he's doing here, just kind of making it difficult for these Zealots to really achieve much. They're not really being successful. We've got some probes to have to pull in as well. And yeah, you're just basically picking up free damage while at this stage you obviously have your base coming up, you get extra gates online. And once NightMare actually has his gates online, you can warp in again. Extra units here are nigh on unstoppable.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, NightMare even has the Nexus almost done at his natural expansion. If there was somehow a world where NightMare doesn't realize there's a gold base on this map, and he was like, you know, he forgot to check for 5 minutes, he would still just be totally fine and way ahead economically. And I think Astrea he's coping pretty hard right now. I think we can safely say that. Nice War Prism micro, like, very clean. Because juggling extra units when there's, you know, not quite enough space in the War Prism for all of them, very, very difficult to do. So good job from NightMare. It's very clear that he kind of, that like miss micro that I alluded to earlier, he cleaned it up really nicely towards the tail end. So if anything, I feel like it was worse for Astrea that he didn't GG out like 3 minutes ago. Like, it gave NightMare a chance to, like, find a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that was the worst case scenario actually for Astrea.
I really want to know what got into Astrea recently, man. Like, these proxy gates, the forges, like, it does, like I said, it's just something he's just been doing the last since he got home from Home Story Cups. I don't know what it is exactly, but he's been enjoying it. He's been making the most of it, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for him here. So obviously, now we get to muse over what he's going to do in game number 2. I get the feeling probably not 2 gates and a forge, especially on day to see. So yeah, very interesting way to get started here in this best of 3. And hey, if NightMare gets the W here, that's actually a pretty big deal because, again, that's going to knock Astrea down to a lower bracket. A lower bracket that definitely is not going to be easy. I believe if he does go down to that lower bracket, he would be playing against Trigger. And yeah, I mean, obviously he'd be a favorite there, but then it's a long, hard road to get all the way to the offline section of the tournament, which is what we're going to be talking about a lot, of course, in this next few days of TSL, the next couple of weekends.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat here from that game number 1, and NightMare said hard work in Korean, and then Astrea comes back with handmade. Like, so he's just like, let me just throw a curveball, like just underhand a ball and see if he can catch it. And NightMare, he bobbled it a little bit at first, but he was able to take it home. And like you said, yeah, the decision to go for this in a best of 3 is kind of nutty. Like, as it stands now, he's in a little bit of trouble, and we'll see if this man can capitalize. Spawning down in the bottom left for Team NV, it is NightMare.
Against the top right purple Protoss player from Alpha X, we do have Astrea.
Yeah, I feel like going for that in a best of 5, you're like, okay, no biggie. Like, you don't want to give away a map for free, but it's a really high risk, high reward scenario. Maybe you tilt your opponent. Maybe you catch them not scouting. There's ways that works. But in a best of 3, that feels like so volatile. Now, I do want to talk a little bit to your point about Astrea being like doing like cheeses just out of the blue. He is a player that's done some pretty nasty stuff in the past. Like, he has gone for, you know, like, I think at one point he did a proxy Nexus cannon rush where he like did he recall probes into his opponent's main base, or was it just for battery overcharge? I remember he did like a proxy Nexus at one point, and it was just like, and it worked too, which was the crazy part. Like, it was like proxy Nexus cannon rush, and people were like, Astrea, hello? And Trap was the victim.
Trap was the victim. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some crazy stuff that can go down, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You didn't lose the game. You were a victim of cheese.
A victim of cheese. I like it, man. A victim of cheese. I've been a victim of cheese a few times, Steadfast.
We've all been a victim of cheese, yeah.
Disgusting.
I've been a suspect of cheese many times, too.
A suspect as well? Oh, no. It's you. It's been you all along.
It's me just with the Amogus emote, just bouncing around in chat. That would actually be such a good spray. Oh, my God. I want to make that spray. I think sprays are super underutilized in SC2. I think you can get a lot of mileage out of a good spray after you beat an opponent with like something funky. You just drop like a question mark spray or something like that. I think it's super underutilized for the mental aspect of SC2.
It would have been easier if they weren't on workers. Like if any unit could spray, but like on like a reasonable cooldown. Can you imagine winning a fight with something you just like drop a spray down? But sadly, people aren't bringing single workers along just to spray after they win a fight.
I think they should, though. I think they absolutely should.
Honestly, I feel like that's one of the. I feel like that would be a really easy change that would actually be very effective at creating some like fun moments for sure.
Yeah, especially if you could like toggle through a couple sprays, like you had like a click wheel or something. But that's just ideas that are great
that'd be really sick
for Blizzard that they'll never implement. Maybe Microsoft, who knows?
Can you imagine a toggle wheel? That'd be really cool.
It would be so freaking cool. Probably should talk about this game a little bit, but that's me. That's on me. I was the one who, went off the rails. Astrea was able to get the quicker Nexus. Oh, doesn't want to lose that sentry. Okay, he does pull it back. Adepts do very well versus sentries, actually. It takes 4 shots to kill a sentry. It's very, very neat. But yeah, we've got a very quick Nexus from Astrea. He was able to get away with the Gate Cybernetics Core Nexus, I believe, whereas NightMare elected to go for the Oracle. I believe Astrea blocked it, and he is going to go for a very quick sentry into the Stalker with a quick hallucination, and now we see something very bold. Proxy Dark Shrine. Astrea, what does he have in the main base? Can he defend against the Oracles? Not against double Oracle. He's got 2 gates, but this could be very scary. Oh, not if he goes to the natural so much, though.
Yeah, these Oracles getting some good damage done. NightMare kind of needed it, man. He's going to get that 1 Oracle out just alive as well. Yeah, it's quite important for NightMare to get something done here because he is just down a few workers, so that evens it out. Astrea on his way to these DTs. Obviously, that makes the Oracles very important for NightMare because that's going to be his main source of detection for a little while here. So yeah, I'd say pretty important he gets that sword out quickly and ready to play against you. Do you have this Oracle coming in again? But this is bad. Like I say, he needs these Oracles, and now no detection on the map. That's really, really bad for NightMare. Game ending even.
I was going to say that's disastrous and, like you said, potentially game ending. It is going to be a slow warp in Pylon, but is there a unit in the wall here? No, there is not. We've got NightMare. Looks like he wants to continue aggression. He will be able to build an Oracle behind us, but the thing is, there's only 1 Pylon powering that Stargate. This could be all over in a matter of moments if Astrea warps in DTs.
I mean, if Astrea just made the DTs right now and just went, you would imagine that this is probably going to end unless you have an insane way to buy time, which I feel like is going to be very difficult to do or find.
Astrea.
So yeah, definitely interesting. Finally, one warps in. And he gets found as well, this Dark Shrine. Yeah, but he could have warped in DTs a long time ago.
And he just didn't.
He didn't realize.
Yeah, he could have done it so long ago. The Oracle is going to start. Oh my God, this is so unfortunate. This was in effect a free win for Astrea. I mean, obviously it's not free because the builds had to work out the way that they did. Blah blah blah. But still, like, this should have won the game. Now we're going to see just kind of a 2-pronged attack in the main base. The Stalkers are fighting against one another. Astrea not attacking with the DT for a very, very long time. NightMare will lose 1 Stalker, but considering the fact that this could have ended the game very easily, to only get 1 Stalker, very, very far from worthwhile. And he traded 1 for 1 in the main base, I believe, as well. Yeah, this is rough.
That is absolutely meant to be a lot better for Astrea. Now he loses the Dark Shrine too, so the fact he got found, you lose the ability to get your DTs back on the map unless you reinvest. There's 1 still remaining, but yeah, just losing that threat is kind of a big deal as well, because now that's a tech investment you've lost out on. That's money that was not meant to kind of end up like this. Oh, man. Yeah, huge opportunity lost for Astrea. Still in the lead. 7 workers up, 8 workers up, right? But just things that are missing now that maybe should have been there otherwise. Yeah, game goes on, and obviously in PvP especially, a game continuing on is usually quite scary.
Yes, that's the thing. Like PvP, especially against a player like NightMare, who's got such good Blink Stalker control, and he is okay. He's currently up a lot of Stalkers. If we look at that unit count, we can see that he's up 18 Stalkers to 8. Astrea does have 2 Immortals, which is going to be very, very beneficial, but he's going to need to be very careful with them. The Warp Prism that he's building right now is actually going to be quite helpful for potentially picking them up and getting them out of harm's way. But, oh no, he blinks forward. Oh god, the Immortals!
Wow, and this is going to happen so far away from the battery, so NightMare's going to get a great jump on this fight, and this fight will continue to happen away from the battery. The Prism should be zoned out as well, and so many of these Stalkers taking damage. Finally, the Super Battery is going to come into play. I mean, really needed to as well, right? My goodness, what a crazy little game that we've got going on as NightMare will continue to look for some kills here. He is able to one-shot Stalkers through batteries. I mean, even now the batteries are kind of on low energy, right? And probes are being pulled, so NightMare's going to get a lot of damage done. I'd love if he could just find a chance to target down the Prism. It's such a valuable target. Oh. Boom, there it goes. Because that's Robo build time that's now taken up. It's micro potential lost. It's counterattack potential lost as well for Astrea. And NightMare's just going to keep on hammering this point home. Stalkers continue to take a lot of damage and losing a bunch of them as he runs through the choke point, trying to find a defensive position. I mean, NightMare now, if he wants to, can get rid of this battery, and that obviously opens up the rest of this game at this stage.
Yeah, there's another Immortal about to hit the field. That is Astrea's only chance to stabilize, I think, right here. It needs to get a ton of value, and there it is, finally getting into the fight. Oh my god, this game will... Oh, he's going to get blinked on again. We do have a DT defensively, and because the... Yeah, okay, he might... I think he stabilizes. The problem is he's taken a lot of damage.
Yeah, he really has. The CT's, I think, the only thing that's really obviously keeping him kind of in this at all at the moment, so even that's a little bit awkward here because it's not ideal, and as soon as we do get detection over here, this one DT isn't going to do great, and even now the Stalkers are just kind of sticking out of range of the DT, still trading very well, and could honestly just go blink across into the natural or something, going to catch some warping in units. It does feel like now NightMare has to slow it down just a moment or two, but yeah, he did some serious damage here, taking a big worker lead and really pushing himself into a better position than he's been in before.
Something important to note is that NightMare still doesn't have a Robo. I was just going to say, so if we see... oh, man. If Astrea could have... God, if Astrea loses this game and this series, specifically this game, it's going to be a situation of missed opportunities. One, obviously, losing those Immortals so quickly and easily at the third base. And that was a bit of a bait from NightMare. Like, he left the Oracle dangling, I think, on purpose to try and bait the blink forward, I think. But yeah, Astrea could have had DTs, even one DT during that attack in any of the bases. There was no cannons. There's obviously cannons now, but there was no cannons, no Forge, no Oracle, no Robo, absolutely no detection. And NightMare, if there's a DT in any of his bases during all that, even if he pulls the probes, I think Astrea is out of, like, in the lead right now. As it is, this is such a tough position right now for Astrea. He's way down in the upgrades. His fourth base is actually faster, which is kind of funny. This still feels like NightMare has a good chance here. Ooh, nice revelation and blink forward takes out that DT. Good vision, like not like vision, but like good eyesight to actually spot the blur.
Yeah, we do have this Observer here from Astrea. Do you feel like, obviously, the lack of Robo/Observer from Astrea, from NightMare is really punishing him right now? Because if he just had a way to deny some of this vision of Astrea, then Astrea can't be making moves on the map like this. He can't be basically out here. So, yeah, right now, NightMare's every move is being watched. I don't think Astrea has enough to actually make a play, but obviously having the vision to decide if he can or not at least gives him potential, right? So, now he grabbed the Oracle because of it. As we do see NightMare, he's just going to kind of go, but he doesn't have reinforcements because the Robo's not even finished yet. He's still not got a Prism, no pylon on this side of the map. I don't think that Astrea needs to fight until he gets back towards his defensive setup. I don't think NightMare really has a way to fight into this either.
Yeah, but now Battery Overcharge has been used up. NightMare shouldn't even chase right now. Astrea's trying to draw him in towards that third base. NightMare should just go and cancel, or rather kill the fourth base. There's no batteries over here. This is... I mean, what's the Stalker count right now? It's actually dead even, but there is a +1 upgrade lead here for NightMare. NightMare should just set up kind of outside this Nexus and take the better concave and blink back as necessary.
And he's got I thought he had a Zealot counterattack coming around the bottom right side, but turns out he's pulled that one back, which I feel like is actually a bit of a missed opportunity because, yeah, there's a cannon and stuff on that base, but he still could have caused some chaos, forced some warp-ins then. Maybe that allows him to do more on the left side base. So maybe a missed opportunity as well for NightMare, who will just clear out the watchtower. He's moving into the Robo Bay in a second Robo facility. He wants to get into Disruptors. He says, you know what, I'm comfortable with my position. Let's take this into a further lead instead of trying to end it now. But geez, can we please just get like an observer or two? Because again, Astrea's getting so much free information on the map with these observers. Yeah, finally an observer's out. I mean, it's just so necessary. Finally, Astrea is a little bit more in the dark and just doesn't know exactly what NightMare's doing every second of the game.
Yeah, and I think you're very, very on point with that. Maybe we should have seen it a little bit earlier from NightMare, but the double disruptor transition is exactly what he needs right now. Astrea, like you say, he's in the dark. He has no way to really figure out what's going on. He can't afford to warp in sentries for hallucinations, obviously. The observer just got picked off, so now there's like no... I don't think Astrea even has any vision on his opponent's side of the map at this point. Okay, no, he's got a watchtower and he's got the pylon. Nope, he had the watchtower at one point. He's got the pylon, that's it. And these Blink DTs, they're going to need to get some damage done and also find out about this disruptor transition.
Yeah, not having your own disruptors and stuff setting up and so on is definitely a problem. But the DTs can cause chaos enough and damage enough that they can make it up, and I would say that for the first time in a while, at least feel a little bit better for Astrea.
Yeah.
His actual army is looking okay. Yes, he'll be outmatched by disruptors, but the potential is there. The DTs are set up to do damage, and that's something which I still feel like NightMare is not brilliantly set up to deal with, and he's being kind of baited down over here so the DTs can hit the left side. Obviously, that's doesn't feel good unless he can hit some disruptor shots, which against almost a purely Stalker army, he's unlikely to do. He will start by getting the Immortal, though. I mean, nice start, but again, we're waiting for the DTs to hit, which they have just now done on the 4th base. So in they go, and, Probe Star to die instantly.
Yeah, they are getting actually shredded at that other base. But when he does see the disruptors, I think he lost like 3 of the DTs right there to the disruptors. But still, that's disruption. That's disruption that Astrea needed, and it's scouting information that he really needed as well. He's now getting his own double Robo Disruptor setup. He's actually drawn NightMare really far out of position with the entire army. NightMare didn't need to move everything over there, just like a handful of Stalkers and an Observer. And Astrea's going to punish so goddamn hard for this, and he's going to get the Oracle. He's going to intercept one of the Disruptors. Doesn't get the kill, but that is a huge, huge pickup. And now, oh, I don't know about this move. Wow, Disruptor actually hitting one of NightMare's own Stalkers right there in Astrea. He is just going to dance in, dance out, and dance all day.
Yeah, NightMare's obviously getting caught a little bit off guard here, panicking, disruptor shots going from disruptors that weren't meant to be shooting, so he causes friendly fire. Really not ideal. And now these other Stalkers trying to get back a little bit. So this time, NightMare able to make the jump on this. Remember, Astrea is only playing with 2 disruptors of his own right now. They could get big hits, but there's only 2, so he can't hold off forever. That's a blink forward. Surely the disruptor shot should come in now. He aims, he hits on the Stalkers. He should have his own blink back. Now another disruptor shot from the top side. This one's denied. The disruptor on the bottom denied as well. This one too. Astrea is stopping every disruptor from connecting. These Archons are the one big thing at the moment from NightMare, but this has been a disastrous fight from NightMare. Everything pretty much went wrong. Oh man, what a game. And in the end, Astrea is going to come out on top of this, it seems, as NightMare loses his final disruptors up to the top. I felt like NightMare was really rushed into making this fight happen, and because he was rushed, he completely scuffed it.
Yeah, and it all comes down... You talked about it PvP being like, I mean, it's PvP, it's scary. All it took was those 4 Blink DTs. They completely discombobulated NightMare. They drew his entire army out of position. Astrea goes in, snipes a full-on base, and from that point on, NightMare feels so pressured to go across the map. And Astrea, he's just going to pick off Archons. He gets blinked on, but I mean, he's going to be able to return the favor, get a little bit of damage done. And I think with this Disruptor and with this position, he should be able to deny this base once again. Oh, nice snipe on the Disruptor, but it cost him so many Stalkers to get it.
This all happened because he ran after one remaining DT with the entire army.
Yeah.
Like, it was one DT that he chased, and that one DT led to this bottom base dying, and then him feeling like he had to go across the map and feeling too pressured. NightMare was in a great spot in this game, and he really kind of let it slip on his own accord, just overreactions to things that he didn't need to be reacting to so heavily, and just really missing an opportunity to win out this series right here. Now he's going to have to play a game number 3. I mean, it's been a back-and-forth game, sure, but it's got to feel good as Astrea to come out on top of a game like this one and give you a lot of confidence going into that next map. Obviously, we see Disruptor shots still flying and landing, but at this stage, they don't really matter because Astrea just has so much anyway, unless he's the one eating the shots, which he isn't, and NightMare types GG. Then we go to 1-1.
You say that shot at the end doesn't matter, and in the context of the game, absolutely not. Astrea had already snowballed the game; it was over. But in terms of the mental damage going into Game 3, that is a terrible feeling. You have basically you got away with not losing what should have been a free win. You end up getting a lead. You end up, almost getting the big win with a nice bait on the third base, taking down those immortals. You're in the driver's seat. You're first into disruptors. You're ahead on upgrades. Everything is going your way. And then you make, like you said, this one huge blunder where, what was it, like 70 army supply chases a 2 supply DT that was already pretty much dealt with. You get discombobulated. You rush a counterattack. It absolutely falls on its face. All of this happens. This is in your mind. And then you lose like 7 stalkers to a disruptor. And you're like, that is truly an emotional and mental toll. We got to give huge kudos to Astrea. He played incredibly well under the gun, and people were praising his decision-making at Home Story Cup. That's exactly what we saw. Like, he was so calm, cool, and collected from a very behind position for a long time. He really did earn his way back into that game, but NightMare helped him a lot.
Yeah, I do think Astrea made some good moves, but I do think this was a lot of just NightMare making some very wrong moves that were very avoidable. Absolutely could have just been in a way better spot. And the one thing I will say is that Astrea was really, again, gifted map vision. You know, the observers were there for so long, and that gave him the confidence to always be set up in the aggressive positions. And even when that observer finally got cleaned up, it still felt like Astrea was just comfortable on the map because he'd had vision for so long. And so he knew a lot of how NightMare was typically moving his army. So then he was able to, a bit of a bait with the DTs. But again, it was that idea of map vision, having the knowledge of what was going on, where it was happening. That did lead us to this tied-up situation in the top left-hand side, bringing it back from a 1-0 deficit. Our purple Protoss player is Astrea.
And his opponent spawning down in the bottom right for Team NV. Can he recover and bring it back, pull off the upset? It is NightMare. Unfortunately, experiencing a bit of his namesake in that game right there. That was a rough one.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like a 90% chance we see a cheese out of NightMare here. I think it's going to be like Proxy Robo or maybe like a 4-gate Blink Stalker or something. It's at this point, he's got to be feeling really rough about how that game went.
It's definitely a funky map for it as well, right? Because this is the in-base map. It is kind of no ramp into the better natural expansion, so typically this is a map where, you can kind of go set up and take that kind of like aggressive stance initially. He's going to go 2 gates against currently a 1 gate from Astrea, who has the money to put down another gate, but really looks like he just doesn't want to. So 1 gate on the high ground out of Astrea. Again, a little bit unique. And what's he going to do over here? A little bit of proxy action. So Astrea going to try and take the initial intentions in his own hands.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a proxy Stargate out of Astrea, I think. But it's so weird right now. As NightMare, you know that your opponent's not scouting. You're like, okay, you might have something on the map. So this could just be a fake pylon, like a really dedicated fake pylon. He's thinking about the 1-gate expand, and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to let you do this. But yeah, no, this is going to be proxy Stargate almost for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yep.
NightMare going. Okay, we don't get that many normal 2-gate openers anymore. Like, it started to be a little bit more common, but there's so many maps with the low ground natural that 1-gate expand seems to be the default now. What do you think about this new 1 Adept, 1 Stalker opening?
I've always felt like it's kind of a weird one because it's such an in-between. You don't have like a sturdy force, you have like a tiny bit of scouting. In this situation, I don't think I like it at all because, you get a bit of scouting, but then you're missing the stalkers you perhaps need. You can't really put on any pressure against the fact that the guy's 1 gate as well. I don't know. I kind of lean that towards not liking it. He's going to drop a Robo, though. So he's going to play a 3-gate Robo, which I do feel like is very good against the Stargate proxy. So that, at least, I think is very nice for NightMare. This can still go well for Astrea. If early Oracle does enough damage, right? And typically Oracle is going to force some units to remain at home. But yeah, it is, I still think, generally good for NightMare because he'll be able to put a lot of gateway pressure on. And in theory, you know, Astrea, I mean, well, there you go. There's an expansion already. He's going to start losing a probe or two. But in theory as well, Astrea will never have as many gateways as NightMare does, and his tech structure is completely out of position to defend, so it's going to be really hard for Astrea to basically deal with the fact that NightMare has the unit advantage, the tech advantage with the Warp Prism to Micro, and probably the location advantage too. So it's really important that this Oracle does a lot, and obviously the Scout is huge as well, and so far Oracle is really good. 6 kills already, and obviously keeping itself alive for future use. Very important too to keep some of these units at home at least.
Okay, so I think right now Astrea, upon seeing that, he should cancel the Nexus, build the second Oracle, keep it on his opponent's side of the map so that a shield battery cannot defend for NightMare. Oh, you got to keep this Oracle alive. Oh, it's so important to keep this Oracle alive. Oh, no, it's trapped. He is going to lose it.
Nice.
Oh, God. Okay, well, that changes everything. I was going to say, yeah, you can just turtle on one base right now as Astrea. He is going to cancel the Nexus, and he's going to go for a Robo. Ooh, and he's going to take a hidden base. Oh, I love this out of Astrea. The thing is, I feel like this is such a good decision, considering how game number 2 went, is you know that NightMare is very likely to commit super hard. Astrea has to build a third Oracle. Ugh, I'm a little bit worried about this timing right here. This looks very scary, but there's no shield battery still.
Yeah, I mean, NightMare really just said, oh, cool, I killed the Oracle, I'm going to be fine. He's going to drop this force field, which blocks all the Stalkers out, and there's not really a counterplay to that.
There's no
recall.
We kill
the battery. Yeah, we kill the battery, there's no recall, and I mean, this is actually just kind of rough. No, we drop a new force field. We can just warp in an extra sentry here as well. The Stalkers, do the right thing, guys. Like, this Micro is not good at all for NightMare. He could have had all of his Stalkers in this main base such a long time ago.
He could have just walked. He could have just walked to the regular ramp and killed those 3 Stalkers that were locked out. He didn't even need to like do. Oh my goodness, NightMare is he's struggling right here a little bit.
Choke, right? Oracle back in the main base as well, so that's going to fly in for even more damage done. He's obviously on such a low work account. I just don't get it, because to me, that's just to get all your units in the main base. You can outnumber because of the force field, maybe even warp in one more sentry, get another force field, right? But I don't understand why the units didn't just commit up into the base. Like, it felt like he was messing up what he was trying to do, but maybe he was always just trying to carry them down to the low ground, but I don't feel like that's the play at all in that situation. Okay, I mean, he's killed a lot of probes himself, but he's still down by 10, and Astrea has the extra base that NightMare has no idea about. And it does feel as though it's going to work out for Astrea here. I mean, NightMare just never left anything to deal with the Oracles, right? And especially when you've killed one, just 2 Stalkers to make sure another one doesn't deal damage would have halted so much of this. So, very frustrating series if you're a NightMare fan, because he's had completely winnable games in Game 2 and Game 3, and is kind of killing himself. Like, I don't think this is, not to take away from Astrea, but I don't think this is, like, great play from Astrea. Like, I love the idea of the Nexus and stuff, but he should have been dead, I think, to this attack. It's NightMare that's just not actually executing like he should be.
Yeah, I think NightMare. Did he recall to get home as well? He did. I think recalling when he was still at, like, he was down at 7 probes at one point, and yes, he got a little bit of damage done, but it was 17-7. Even if you misjudge and you think that your opponent is on like 12 or 13 probes, that's too much of an advantage for your opponent when they have a Robo. This is just a disaster. We're going to see some Warp Prism Micro trying to get something done, but even without the context of the hidden Nexus, I don't think there was any way that NightMare could justify going home and find a way to win this game. And now, I mean, the Phoenix is such a nice decision out of Astrea too. Like, oh, these Stalkers? Oh, are they going to find the base? Oh,
yeah.
It's so close, but he doesn't find it. Oh. He's rebuilt his probe count to a respectable 16, but yeah, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, the base is really smart out of Astrea. I do think it left him open to the attack, but if you just had the money, right? But like, now, obviously, the base looks like an absolute, like, 200 IQ play because, and it kind of was, because as long as you got to this stage, as long as you survive, that base is always going to be fantastic, and it's working absolutely perfect right now. NightMare finally shuts down this pile in the Stargate bottom left, and I'm just a little sad for NightMare, because it's just, NightMare's a cool guy. I feel like it'd be cool for him to have a good run, and that obviously would be nice to get into round 2 of the winner bracket already. And it just feels like when you've got such winnable games and you still can't quite grasp the victory. On the other hand, if Astrea does take this, then I believe it's Astrea Reino in the next round, right? And that's obviously a pretty fun rematch from Home Story Cup. So, yeah, I mean, good news for fans either way, but yeah, just a little sad. I just feel like this was so winnable for NightMare. He'll be kicking himself a little bit. As Astrea now just obviously completely out-macros him, and this game should be out of NightMare's reach heavily. Yeah. I don't know what you do to get back.
Like, there's always a chance, but yeah, the thing is, it sounds like we're just like writing off NightMare and we're being like, oh, NightMare is so dead. But like, this is a really, really difficult situation. Even if there wasn't a hidden base, like Astrea still has the Nexus that's quicker by, like what, almost a minute, and he is gonna pick off this War Prism. He's just gonna sack the Phoenix to get it. Now, a good recall will say that. Exactly. Yeah, no, you're taking the one tool that NightMare has to create chaos in this game. You're taking it away from him. So it's a very good decision. And I mean, yeah, like Astrea, like I cannot imagine a world where he lets a game with this kind of lead go. And he's doing all the right things to make sure that he does win this game. Stasis Ward, I mean, it gets denied, so that's fantastic. He just drained 50 energy from from his opponent. I feel like there's no reason for Astrea not to attack right now. Now that he's seen a Nexus, he's killed the War Prism, and he's got this number of Immortals. There's literally no reason for Astrea not to just end the game. He's even got a War Prism already.
Is there not also just a ton of reasons for him to just sit here though? Like, he's up a base, he's got a good work account. If NightMare doesn't attack, then it only gets better for Astrea too. Like, I think there's no wrong decision, like sitting back or attacking. Yeah. Like, either way, whichever approach you want to take, I think attacking is generally smart, like you were suggesting. Just, I could understand a world where you're like, well, man, I see his economy on the natural, it's terrible. If I just sit back, then sure. But he also has the information that he has a way better army, so yeah, take advantage of that, make use of it. Away we go, and yeah, looks as though Astrea's going to get the 2-1 victory in, like I say, what is a very frustrating series for NightMare. If he goes back and watches the replay of this, I feel like he's going to be kind of kicking himself. He still just can't quite figure out what he was trying to do in that main base, because I really feel like if he just got in there with everything straight away, Astrea just actually cannot fight it, and he has no defense ready. He's lost the battery. Just felt like that was a major slip-up right there, really getting caught in the moment in NightMare. An expensive lesson, right? But I guess one you have to learn, just this being able to be patient and calm under the tense situations, because he definitely panicked, I think, in what was potentially a very big win for him, and gave it up as now Astrea just camps outside. And, well, again, as soon as he feels comfortable, sees the chance, he'll be moving in. We do have the 2 Adepts already here making some plays as well, denying the probe on the back base. And yeah, Adept's even going to get up into the main, be annoying. Maybe another attempt at the front from Astrea, who, again, if nothing else, is just going to sit here, work towards Blink, continue to improve the game state for himself, and take this down. Good force fields here, at least give him a chance of taking down this Immortal. Super Battery's pretty good, but just not good enough against 4 Immortals of firepower. And I feel like we're going to continue to see a very similar story, and of course, once that Super Battery fades, this game really should just end.
Yeah, the only reason this game hasn't ended is because it is tough to attack into that choke when your army is, mostly Immortals, because they get force fielded relatively easily and more effectively than Blink Stalkers. But there's no problems right here for Astrea. And big Blink forward, will try and go for the War Prism, not going to be able to get it. So not even a moral victory coming in for NightMare. Astrea is absolutely going to close this one out, and he will advance on, as you say, to rematch against Raynor.